So welcome to our ChangeMaker interview series. In this series, we will have a chat with the most inspiring, influential people in business about leadership, success, and change. They give us their feedback on what they learned about good leadership, advice on how to become more successful, and they share their stories on how to approach change for better results. Today, we're honored to interview Antony Forbutt, co-founder of Crema Espresso. They started in 2006. The first shop opened at 3rd Avenue. They now have 16 stores with another 4 opening before Christmas. Antony was recently the winner of the Gold Coast Business Excellence Awards in the category Tourism, Hospitality and Events. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And he also recently became a grandfather. So the first one arrived 11 weeks ago. The second one was just a week ago, so they're 10 weeks apart. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, and thank you.
And also, he celebrated his 30th wedding anniversary in September. So it's fair to say that Antony definitely knows about great coffee. So thank you for having us, and we're very excited to ask you a few questions.
No problems.
We're looking forward to our ChangeMaker interview series with Antony. Thank you for inviting us to your office. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about myself. Wow. Started out as a pastry chef many years ago. Started when I was chefing. I was always keen to get into business, so started doing a couple of small business courses of a night time, got my head around it. Had my children very young, which was the best thing I've ever done. Then progressed on. It was, the challenges that started presenting as a young father, family, wanting to get into business. Were brilliant. Like, it just gave me something to focus on. So, and look, and the evolution from there is it's continued with myself through my entire life now that I've been able to have family around me that supported me with things that I've been looking to do, and being able to go home at night time and go, hey guys, things are looking good.
That sounds great. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so what is your personal motivation to do what you do on a daily basis?
Personal motivation, wow. The question is, what do I do when I get out of bed of a morning, and what gets me out of bed of a morning? A couple of things at the moment. Look, I think it changes. Definitely when I was younger, motivation was obviously feed the family and go forward. Now it's really getting out of bed personally. I'm trying to be a bit fitter, trying to be a better me, I suppose. So it's out of bed of a morning, going to the gym and starting the day with a really clear head. It's certainly, for me, going into a gym and starting to do that sort of stuff, I didn't realise the absolute benefits you get out of it. Business-wise, well, I just got this amazing little brand that is going places. I love coffee, love the people involved, love the whole mentoring role that's involved with franchising. So yeah, look, that's what gets me out of bed. I've got lots of positives.
That sounds great. Okay, so how would you describe success, and when did you feel that you were successful?
Another great question. Success is about balance for me. Again, it changes. When you're younger, success might be getting your first job, and I remember getting my first job and going, wow, I'm on my way. Having children, it brings so much to you, and you realise why you're here and what it's all about. So success for me is about balance. And look, you don't have a day where you say I'm now successful and it stops. Success it's fluid, it keeps moving, and the balance that I have in my life, I'm successful. And it's not a monetary thing. It's a family thing. You can go home of a night time and feel good about what you're doing. That's success for me.
Makes sense. And would you say that your success now also with Crema Espresso has contributed to the way you can now take care of your family? Do you see a difference there?
Look, absolutely. It's that balance. You go, or I say, I don't work in a job. This is a lifestyle for me. I love dealing with people, talking to people. Getting out of bed of a morning is not, oh my God, I've got to go to work. It's I'm pumped, I'm ready to go because I'm out there having fun, and that comes back to being able to come home of a night time, being positive about my business, stepping through the door, seeing my beautiful grandchildren or my wife, and going, this is positive. There's no negative in it. So,
do you come home in time?
In time. That's an interesting question. I'm very fortunate my wife's in the other office, so we both sit here some nights fairly late, but it's really not a chore. We don't sit and go, oh my God, we've got to try and finish this stuff. It's really about we're enjoying what we're doing. It is providing us a lifestyle where we can have that balance that I talk about. Where we can do things with our children, we can do things with our grandchildren. It is about that balance.
Are you able to be there at all the important moments for your children?
Absolutely. I've been very fortunate having my children younger than most. I was in my early 20s when both of them were there, so I was very fortunate to grow up with them and being able to. I was as a young dad, young mum, and we were the cool ones, I suppose, that we were able to hang out with our kids and we got to know their friends, and they've become our friends as they've grown up. They're still our friends. So it's that family, having that family involvement is so key for everything you do, because you're not in a negative space.
That's great. That sounds really good. So, what are 2 mistakes you won't make again?
2 mistakes I won't make again. I will not go into business with somebody that I don't really know. Really, that's a biggie for me, and it's easy to do. You might think you know somebody, but you've got to get to know them. Part of what I do now with the franchise model is I actually want to understand somebody a whole heap more deeper. So a simple thing like asking them to invite me into their home for a meal, a lunch or a dinner. All of a sudden you see somebody in their own space. You see somebody how they want to present themselves to you. Do they dress well? Are they going to respect you coming into their space? So yeah, that's the first biggie for me on what would I make sure that I don't make that mistake again. That one's the first one. Second one is not having a business plan, and I know it's really cliched, but business plan, or just not having a plan. I won't say business plan. Not having a plan and writing it down sounds really simple, but through all my years, every time I've got into business, I've always sat down and written it out, except one time. And that one time was the one time where I should have done it. So I won't make that mistake again.
Can you shortly address what this was about? I'm intrigued now.
Yes, I can. So I was going into a business relationship with other business partners, not fully understanding who the one that was driving the business, who they were and what they were about, and probably entrusting them too much, thinking they actually knew what they were doing. You get to a point where you think you're a smart person and you start to outsmart yourself by saying, I've done it before, I understand what needs to happen, and you get a feel for someone. When that someone's almost to the point where they're methodical in the way or what they're doing, if you'd done a business plan, it would have highlighted, those red flags would have come out. But I let it roll along, and by the time it rolled along and I realised what was there, it was too late. So that's as much as it's a business plan. Doesn't matter what you're doing, get it on, write it down, look for the red flags.
If you had to start over, what would you do differently?
Very, very little. Very, very little, to be honest. No regrets. Again, my family, I wouldn't redo my family. They're brilliant. Business-wise, look, maybe I would have gone into business earlier. I always had the passion to do it, but it was sort of later in my 20s. I'd like younger me having a crack earlier. That would have been good, but other than that, no regrets. It's all very positive.
That's really positive. So how important is external support to success?
Critical.
Do you consider external support?
External support. Okay, you don't know what you don't know, and it is that simple. I'd like to think I'm the smartest person in the world, but I do understand that there are smarter people in different areas. So I've always the mentorship is something that I know. Look, I didn't realise it when I was younger, but it was there. And now as I'm getting older now, the mentorship is a major thing in any business. You've got to surround yourself with the right people that can give you the right advice, or at least make the right comments at the right time. So, external, look, absolutely, it's critical. You've got to have people around you. You can't do these things by yourself.
What kind of people do you surround yourself with?
Other business. Just lots of people. It's really about just putting yourself out there and putting yourself into spaces where you're meeting different people, diverse people, understanding different businesses. We're actually all the same. Business is very, very simple. We're all doing the same thing, and it's just different things we're selling or trying to deliver. So understanding and just talking to people, I think it's just, it's one of it's the most significant thing you can do. So associations, go to conferences, do all those sort of things, and you'll find, I always think of those things as if you can pick up just one thing from one person and put it back in your toolbox, bang, off you go, and all of a sudden you've got a toolbox full of things to play with.
True. Do you do any networking on Gold Coast?
Absolutely.
Which one do you recommend?
I'm actually involved with the council at the moment, where they're promoting the CBD or looking to how they promote the CBD. And they're actually calling it a ChangeMaker series.
Wow.
So
great name.
It's a great name. So it's really good, again, being involved with the council's putting it together and pulling together some really significant people on the coast to sit in a room and discuss how they can promote the South Quarter as the CBD. So out of that, just the connections there have been really, really good. Same with the Franchising Council of Australia, being able to go along to regular breakfasts or events there where you're talking to other people that have formed franchises or managing franchises, and you get the good and the bad. You can sit and listen to somebody that's talking in a way that's very negative or critical, and you can take that away and go, wow, that is so bad that I'm never going to do that. But also the flip side is you're getting people that they'll make one comment and you go, yep, I'll take that one home, and done.
That's right.
So networking is massive for me.
What has been the most inspiring story you heard in business?
Most inspiring story would be recently I've been very fortunate to have Terry Morris as a mentor. So I spent some time with him, and Terry started out as an insurance salesman and has now built his empire, which is the Ceremony Winery, and his son has the track, the racetrack, and the factory stuff there at the back of Ormo. The one thing I got out, and the inspiration that I get out of Terry, and I've only recently met him, and he's such a beautiful person, and I mean a beautiful person. He's a businessman, and you can sit there, he's very astute, and you get all those things, but he gives his time freely, and I mean, he sits and has a chat, and talks about, how he started out with not a lot, and just got focused and rolled along. So the inspiration I get out of that is, anyone can go anywhere, and I've always thought it, but there's someone that's done it, and, being able to just sit and have a very quiet, lunch and a chat and talk through things. It's inspiring. As I said to him, we were sitting there, and he goes, where do you want to be? Where's the future and all this sort of stuff. And I said simply, I just want to be you. I just want to be sitting here in a winery. I said it was just really nice, and I want to be him because how he introduced me to his staff and the respect it wasn't put on. He wasn't walking around and people standing to attention and all this sort of stuff. They generally were saying, hello, Mr. Morris. There's just respect that comes. Not that I want to be Mr. Forbutt, but it's just the respect that he wasn't demanding, but he was receiving. And I think that's, you can't demand respect, and to see that, loved it. So there's great chunk of inspiration there.
So how did you get in touch with Terry?
It was a little bit by default. I was doing the CEO Sleep Out fundraiser night, and I was feeling a bit guilty because I'd actually only a couple of weeks previously done a fundraiser where I rode from Brisbane to Sydney for M&D and me, and basically hit all my contacts to raise some funds. Went along to the CEO Sleep Out, feeling a bit guilty about not raising a whole heap of money like everybody else was doing, and there was actually an auction. And one of the auction items was Terry Morris mentorship.
A
A date with Terry, yes. But it, and I can be very honest, I actually wasn't going to bid on it. I actually thought that it was going to go for way too much money and all this sort of stuff, and I was actually standing in the background talking to someone very quietly while the auction was going on, and it stalled. And I stand there thinking, oh my God, there's this person. I didn't know as much as I do know about Terry at the time, but very fortunate fate. You know, I decided to bid for it and got it, and you know, it was only supposedly it was 4 hours worth of mentorship. I think it's probably about 5 times that amount, and that's what I mean. Terry's he's been very giving of his time, which I've really appreciated, because he is a busy man. He's got a lot going on in his world, and he's no longer a young guy, but he's still there, just driving things, which is brilliant. Love it.
Well, we're really happy we met Terry too, because that's how we
were
recommended to have a chat with you. So Frank, the director of Empower Change, was also at the CEO Sleep Out.
Right.
So he remembers this bit as well.
Yeah.
That's really good. All right. How important is a business plan to you, and how often do you review it?
How important? The old cliche business plan. Business plan, you've got to live it. If you're not living a business plan, you can call it what you like. It's about de-risking. Whatever you do in business, you've got to think about, obviously, you research it and you plan things and you start implementing all that. My headspace is all about de-risking. So a business plan will help you understand where those red flags are going to come from, and also the positive ones. You know, business plan is fluid. You don't do a business plan and put it in a cupboard. It's something that you've got to live daily. You've got to review daily, and you do have to write it down. It's not something that you just mythically think, this is what I'm going to do, and that comes into too. Like I've only probably in the last few years really thought about the whole goal setting scenario, but I think I've done it for a few years anyway. But business plans, what they do is they give you a path. And I've always thought with the business plan, that path, you're de-risking and you're looking for those red flags. You know, too many red flags, it's time to turn around and go in a different direction.
Do you have a specific time every year or every month, or do you get your team together?
Probably the easiest way to put that is 2 levels. I'm in franchising, so I have my franchisees where I have a program with them which is called the Green Flag Program, where there's certain key elements in the business that have to be always green. So I employ an external consultant who comes in and sits every quarter with my franchisees, reviewing their P&Ls backwards for 3 months, and then also setting their targets, goals going for the next 3 months. That's my baseline for my office here to support my franchisees. So out of that review comes the flags. If everything's green, then the franchisee is very positive and very happy about their business. They want to, and I'm sure, you know, if they're all green and positive, they want to grow their business. So we know straight away that's, you know, how can we help you, and they would have already put down the points they want. But obviously business is business, and it's never always rosy and positive. Being able to see and understand the health of their business and understand their headspace in their business, looking backwards, looking forwards, it's continuous. Understand, and you know, business is hard. There's winners and there's losers. What we don't have is the surprise that comes along from somebody not being focused. We'll start to see the signs of a business that's starting to slow or to falter, and start to address that very quickly and say, well, this is what we're seeing. An external consultant has already highlighted it. We will sit down with you and try and plan through how we can resolve that and get you going forward. At the end of the day, that's the best I think we can do. Some people in business start to even turn away from that sort of stuff, which still surprises me. The business plan, and that's, I suppose, me trying to mentor my franchisees to get into that routine of business plan without ramming it home too hard. For me, I'm doing the same in my own, the franchise business. You know, I have my business partners that have been with me since 2006. I'm accountable to them. They're my boss, and when I say boss, I report to them in our board meetings on what's going on. Part of those board meetings is it's almost an end result, but an end result is just the beginning again. So we're looking at results, and then straight away you're back into researching and planning and then implementing. It's a never-ending circle. So.
Are there certain tools or technology that you use or that you would recommend to other people? Like, for example, when you mentioned the red flag system?
Look, absolutely. There's key KPIs in every business. If you're not focused on them, you're not running your business, and you're going to have a problem. It's that simple. So understanding them, and just for me, advice to others on doing those sort of things. Simply, I suppose, sit down, get a mentor, get somebody that's been in business that are doing things, and actually talk about your business and say, where's my risk in business? I'll rephrase that. I have risks in my business. Which are the ones that I need to be concerned about? How do I manage those risks going forward? So it's there's your business plan. There's if you're smart, you're bouncing it off somebody else that can give you some really sound advice backwards.
So you're mentioning risks as well. Would you say you also need to focus on the opportunities?
Oh, look, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sorry I got a bit negative on the whole risk thing there, but look, opportunities are everywhere, and that's part of, for mine, it's in that research phase, understanding what your business is about, having that end in mind. Where do I want to go, and then going through that research, finding your space, where you're going to be good at, what you can how you can magnify your business idea. Once you've got that, I guess for mine, there's opportunities everywhere. I went into the coffee game, and I remember back in 2006 telling some friends, "Oh yeah, I'm going to open up a coffee business, and we're going to open up a coffee franchise," and they've gone, "You are mad. Coffee is the world over. It's totally flooded. There is no opportunity in coffee." I was sitting back actually thinking the complete opposite. All I could see was it was all old and tired, and this European black, yellow light environment that was the coffee industry in Australia just didn't sit with me. I just thought, hang on, I'm on the Gold Coast here. I'm loving life. There's I want to be modern, sophisticated, bright, in your face, positive. Let's create a brand around that, and that's what we've done. That's exactly what we've done, and it's
job at it too.
Yeah, and that's my headspace still today. I've got this massive opportunity. Nobody's following me at the moment. I'm really enjoying it. That they've still got these I suppose brands out there that keep doing what they want to do.
Well done. We've noticed that one of the main challenges for the majority of business owners is how to properly prepare for the future. So if you consider opportunities, how would you say you prepare for the future?
The best way I'm going to answer that question is constant progression. You've got to understand that you can't stand still. If I look at the market that I'm in Australia, and I just talked about the coffee industry and how I felt that it stagnated and it become this dark European yellow lighted industry. Constant progression, if they understood constant progression was the absolute need in any business, they would understand they have to evolve. I can't, just because I've been successful to this point, I can't sit back and say that what I'm doing today is going to be successful next year. I've got to keep reviewing what we're doing, analysing what we're doing. Obviously the things that work, understand why they work. The things that don't work, understand why they don't work. Then put the plan together. It's no good just thinking it's worked once and rely on it to take you forward, because I'll guarantee you somebody else will do it exactly the same and a little bit better.
Thank you. What 3 tips can you give to someone to turn their business into reality?
I think I've already touched on a lot of them, but they're very simple. Research, understand what you're doing. Understand where you're going to take it. So end game in mind. So sit down, research is probably the starting point. Once you've researched, obviously you want to get into the planning stage. Planning stage, business plan was spoken about, great starting point. When you're doing your business plan, you will find that you need to reach out and really get some advice from other people. when you're putting it together, because a lot of the stuff is already, people have already done it, so they're the easy wins when you're putting your plan together. Once you've got your plan together, I guess the third tip is obviously the implementing what your plan is to go forward. That's crucial to get the right people around you at that point, so forming the team.
Yes. How would you restrict the time spent on research? How much time did you give yourself to research properly?
I'm looking for key things. When I'm researching, it's not about what everybody else is doing. I'm looking for where I can do it differently and better. So for me, I've never thought about researching for years. I've never. That's not me. It's really grab the most current research, the most significant research, and get your hands on, and break it down really quickly.
So how much time did you give yourself? Was it a few months to do proper research, or was it a few weeks dedicated? What time span?
Oh, look, I think the initial research was a couple of months. Yeah. Getting my head around the whole, again, because I wasn't in the coffee world, understanding building the passion. Like at the beginning, first, great, you get motivated when you're thinking new business. Then getting the passion, getting into coffee and realising coffee is worldwide and it's infinite, and the flavours and the different economies that are run on it's just massive the world over, coffee, and as you start to drill into it and realise that it can go anywhere and it touches everybody. So having that passion for the first few months, I suppose sparked the keenness to keep pursuing it. But it also, research never stops. Like I said, it's you don't go, okay, research done, put that away and move forward. It's research, it's got to be ongoing. You've got to keep your eyes open and understand what's new, what's coming. And again, that comes from who you're talking to and where you're putting yourself. Put yourself in the space to be able to hear and see.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. That's a great answer. How do you maximize efficiency in your day?
Again, I suppose for me, maximising efficiency in my day would be, lists. I put lists together, then very simply prioritising. It's not complicated. I have every day. There's so many things that can happen. It's all about understanding what you can, where you need to impact, how you're going to impact, prioritise it, and then delegate. That's simple. How do I maximise my effectiveness? I suppose absolutely drinking a lot of coffee helps. It does help a lot. But look, it's just prioritising. Every day I if you've seen my list that I scribble down, I have very long lists, and I put numbers on them very quickly first thing in the morning and go, okay, this was I have to get done, because in everybody's day. And I'm assuming everybody, maybe it's just my world, but in everybody's day, somebody will come along and try and pull you sideways. They'll try and deflect you in a different direction. If you're not prioritising, very simply, you're going to those things that you have to get done won't get done, and they'll come back and bite you very quickly. So
do you give yourself a minimum and maximum? Do you say, I want to be able to finish at least 5 things a day, or?
No, I think I'd just say I've got to get through this list today, and if I don't get through the list, the things I don't get to are the ones that are well down the list, so I can push them into the next day. List and prior, every day I literally have my lists.
Makes sense. That's great. What do you think limits people's success in business?
Very simply, their head. It's all in your head. People hold themselves back all the time by just thinking, I can't go there. And probably my best analogy on that would be an employee versus a business owner. There are so many people that just can't take that little step from being an employee to a business owner because they don't, for whatever reason. And it's not that they're smart, not that they don't have the financial means to do it. All those, it's just their head says, I'm not going to go there. It holds so many people back, and then when you look at it in reverse, people that become positive, all of a sudden things start to happen around them. They put themselves into a space and doors start to open, and all of a sudden they're sitting down drinking lots of coffee and have this little successful business that's going somewhere because you've actually put yourself into a space surrounded by positive people that get your head in the right space to keep going. Surrounding yourself with people again, that gets that headspace just everybody will have a low day. Everybody will have a low day, doesn't matter who. When you have a low day and all of a sudden you're surrounded by positive people, you can't help but feel positive. So just imagine if you had an office where people weren't so positive and you come drooping through the door going, woe is me, and everyone would go, yeah, woe is me today too. The whole thing would start to flatten.
What do you consider the main difference between an employee mindset and business owner mindset?
I don't think it's a negative. There's some amazing people that are employees. It's just my thought space is that it's just this. I've always wanted to go into business and just wanted to get there no matter what. Some people just don't want to be there and they're just quite happy to move along as they are as an employee. So I've always just thought it's that a little spark that's in your head that goes, I want to do better, or I want to go somewhere. Maybe my analogy is business is better than being an employee, but I've got to be really careful there because I'm going to get in trouble.
It depends on the person and what works best for you.
Absolutely.
What makes being a business owner so amazing for you?
Owning your own destiny, without doubt. When you go to work, you've got to pay yourself. And there's nothing. It's like breathing. You go, wow, this is And when you're doing it, it's a disease. Business is a disease. Once you get into it and you can't get it out of your blood, and it's exciting, and you put yourself out there. You have a go. And there's that taking that step, going, next time I get paid, I'm paying myself. You live. You start to live.
So you say that you're going to eat what you catch, basically.
That's exactly it. And I love it. That's for me. And I'll be really a bit more serious now. I rate people that do that. That actually, I know businesses. A lot of businesses aren't successful. A lot of businesses are okay. And a lot of businesses are brilliant. But everybody that goes into business, I just rate the fact that they're having a go. So if there's anything I can do, or if I can make a comment or a word or support in some way, I'm so keen to do it. It's because they're having a crack. I love it.
Where do you find interesting news or inspiration?
Everywhere. Again, just putting yourself out there. Go to a conference, go to a local association, go to the gym. I love the whole world of fitness now, and I always think about when you go to a sporting event. If you're turned up at a sporting event, be it a triathlon or a marathon, and even if you're only going to walk it or do something, what happens is you feel that energy, and there's this positive energy in the whole space where people are turning up. They're not turning up to go, I'm not going to walk this thing, or I'm not going to run this thing. They're actually there, and they start. You can feel the buzz. People actually walking around and buzzing off. Putting that in a bottle and bringing it back to the office and going, hey guys, this is great. And this is what we're doing. Look, in Crema, we've got very involved, for the last 5, 6, 7 years we've been going to the Noosa Triathlon and putting teams in up there every year and making a really good weekend of it. We've had teams in the marathon, and look, the brand, not only is it something I want to have as a really great association with, that sporting stuff, but it brings that energy back into the brand. It brings it back into my office where people are actually positive about things. It's a great environment to live in, rather than the negative.
Sounds right. Is there a significant quote or saying that you live by?
Well, there is a quote, and I've had it. It's something that's stuck with me for a long time. It's a bit Americanized, so it's Theodore Roosevelt, and it's the man in the arena, and it's all about having respect for people having a crack. So, that passage that he wrote, if you read it, I always get tingles when I read it, because it really is about it, just having a go, putting yourself out there and backing yourself. If you win, lose or draw, it doesn't matter. You've had a go. So that's I've seen it in my family. I've seen it in my friends. When that's happening, it's the sporting that I was just talking about. All those things having a go. That's. I read that many years ago, and it's stuck with me all the way. And I've handed it to a number of franchisees prior to them opening their stores, just to say, here it is. You're having a go. Well,
it reminds me of another quote of Nelson Mandela: "I either win or learn." Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Nelson Mandela actually handed Man in the Arena out to a couple of people, I believe. So I think he gave it to the South African rugby team before they played. One of their significant, I can't remember which one it was. So, but love it. Powerful.
What 2 things did you do to improve your personal performance and that of your team?
2 things, I'd say there is many things, and I'm going to put it back to, and I'm going to probably just say that positive energy. To improve my team, it's got to be about positive. You've got to have a positive energy in the office, and how you do that, be it, surprise Star Wars tickets for the launch, because someone likes Star Wars, but, just doing those extras so the team's buzzing, that they're not sitting around. I don't want them sitting at desks and being ho-hum. The brand is about, like I said, we're modern, sophisticated, we're in your face, we're bright, spark, it's energy. So those many things that come with positivity, hopefully, is what I bring to my team.
The key thing is positive energy. Another tip you might be able to give other people to say this might help with your performance? I
suppose just being focused. Very easy to make a business plan, or to run a business, or to do things that you can overcomplicate. You can really break things down and keep it quite simple. So again, it's about talking to people and understanding that when you're doing something that you can, it's not that complicated. And it's with most things that all it is taking the time to understand.
That reminds me of how you guys train people. Do you want to explain how you do that?
Very simply. My extensive training course involves, because we have coffee shops, I train all my people in 1 minute, and it's very simple. All I ask them is, do you have a friend? So if you have a friend, I'm hoping you have a friend. If you have a friend, if they were sitting over there at the moment, your eyes would go over there and they would smile, and you would say hello and you'd greet them nicely. If they're sitting, you'd go over and say, can I help you? Can I get you a coffee? Can I get you some food? When you do that, you're also going to make sure the coffee and the food that you get them, you're going to put it in front of them nicely, and it's going to be nice and made well. At the end of it, they're going to have it in. Whilst you come back over here, you're going to keep your eyes on them, and you're going to watch what they're doing, making sure that they're having a good, happy time or comfortable time. When they stand up to leave, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go and go, hey, great to see you today. Can't wait to see you again. And you give them a lovely parting gesture. And there it is, training complete. That's all you have to do.
Right, that's a great example. Are there any exciting future plans coming up that you would like to share with us?
Exciting future plans, absolutely. I've just recently formed another company to head in the direction of I suppose, off the back of Crema Espresso and providing premium coffee and premium locations. We're now launching 2 other brands in the coffee to the general trade. So we're forming a roasting company to create unique blends and go to the route trade. So look, it's a whole new business. It's separate to what I'm doing with the Crema Espresso franchising, but it's exciting because, as I said, the coffee industry is vast. There may be a lot of players in it at the moment, but they're ready for another new amazing coffee brand. So we're coming.
That sounds really exciting. Keep us posted. What do you consider your main competitors?
I don't really see competitors. There's obviously lots of players in the coffee market. Not focused on any particular brand. My business is 50% beverage, 50% food. I don't have another major brand that has that ratio. So from a competitor, look, there's some really good brands out there. Great. I'm sorry, I don't have that answer for you.
It's actually good. That's good because it simply means that you guys are unique.
Yeah, look, I'm not focused on what other people are doing.
Fair enough. What is the most interesting question anyone has asked you?
Oh, see, that question, first of all, is one of the most interesting questions. So I'm sure.
That's good. We'll take that as a compliment.
I suppose I was trying to do it, the one question that sticks in the back of my mind is, what do you think of yourself when you're sitting by yourself and nobody else is around? Is always one that's sort of been in the back of my, it's there, who am I? So it's sort of, when you start to think about it, it really starts to put some thoughts in your mind and give some clarity.
Wow. What is your number one tip to enjoying a happy and fulfilling life?
Simply family. It's family.
For us, is there any hope because we don't have any kids yet?
I'm sure you'd have family around you. You'd have parents, and for me, look, having my children was amazing. Having my children grow up and now having grandbabies come along is amazing. Having my wife and then the extended family. We do have a large family on the Gold Coast, so that extended family is, it comes with all the what's and all that every family has. But having that family around me and having the ability to have that time is I think that's just absolute key.
It's amazing you have everyone on the Gold Coast, because you guys were originally not from the coast, correct?
No, so I still have family down in Sydney, but it's my wife's family that, her parents, or definitely a mother, one of 7, and most of them are around the Gold Coast and had good Catholic family that bred well. So there's plenty of them. But look, just because I've got family interstate doesn't mean that I don't see them or hear from them and that sort of stuff. But it's really that balance, that's the key for mine. Without that family, back at the very first question you asked about, why do I get out of bed in the morning and what do I do things for? It is about family. It's about trying to strike that balance and being able to afford the time, to have the time to spend doing things. We don't work to live. We live. Sorry, I'll reverse that. We don't live to work. We work to live.
So American mentality, almost, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always thought that. Striking the balance is what I aim for.
When you say balance, what does that mean to you? Is that work, family, sports? What does balance mean to you?
The whole thing, actually enjoying life. And the balance is about, I really enjoy business. So being able to balance that with really enjoying my family and really enjoying sports. And the balance is the hard thing, because it's very easy to get drawn in one particular direction. Like, go crazy with sport for a while, all of a sudden you start to lose contact with the family because you're off training or off doing crazy things. Same with business, I love man, I go everywhere, coffee, I could travel the world. Just keeping that balance together so it's not one overpowering the other.
If you could get a free ticket tomorrow to try coffee somewhere in the world, where would you go?
Colombia. Very simply because I've got family. My son-in-law is Colombian and his sister, who actually works in my office, Crema, is Colombian. So there is family in Colombia. So I would shoot there straight away to meet them, and obviously there's that balance. There's a bit of coffee I can go and look at too.
Alright, our final question. Can you leave us with Antony's top 3 tips on how to improve your business?
Oh, okay. Very simple. Research. So, and then you go into plan, and then you're going to implement. So, understand any mind. I'll use the sports analogy now, and say, if it's about winning a game of football, first thing you go, okay, how am I going to do it? There's the research. I'm going to sit down, how am I going to win that game? So then the next step is, okay, I've done the research on what I need to do. Then I'm going to plan, I'm going to sit down and actually, how am I going to train? How am I going to start bringing things together to make it happen? And then finally, I'm actually going to get the team. And I'm going to go and get the people around me and the people that come together that can actually help me run on the field and win that game. It's crucial if you don't do those. It's a bit of a cliche, the whole research, plan and implement, but it's so true. If you don't do it, you're in trouble, or you will be in trouble.
Thank you so much for sharing all this amazing information with us. We're very keen to stay in touch and hear what the next plans are, so thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.